Well, what do we have here? Obviously a twin EDF B2 model. I've been a great fan of the B2 since I had the privilege of seeing one at an air show back in the UK in the late 90s sometime. Absolutely awesome to see it flying with its two wingmen, the F-15s. Nobody was quite sure why they were there, to mask the low signature of the B2 perhaps. When I saw this come up on a local second-hand site, I just had to have it. I'd had my eye on B2s for a long time, and I got really excited when Motion RC brought out a B2 model. Excited until I found out the price. €750? Are you having a laugh? Anybody from Motion RC who's watching, I don't know if you've noticed, but the hobby is in terminal decline, mainly due to the ridiculous drone restrictions that are put on us fixed-wing model flyers as well. My own local club has lost half its members due to the nonsense surrounding that. Anyway, this is not meant to be a rant. Go over and see Bruce Simpson's blog if you want more on that particular subject. On this particular subject, this old, slightly beaten up B2, originally it's a GWS model, and I think it's probably around 15 years old. When I looked at it on the web, the EDFs that are supplied are brushed motors. I hope you're sitting down for this piece of information. It was originally intended to fly on a single 750 milliampere hour nickel metal hydride battery. Now you can imagine that that is not going to produce an enormous amount of power, and the few videos that I have seen, which are very old on YouTube, the thing limps around the sky and frankly is not spectacular at all. If you believe in the power of coincidences, at the same time, from a different supplier, I found these GWS fans that are brushless. Has the brushless motor on there. I've tested it in my little rig here. Before I was too scared to let it run any further, it got up to some 500 grams of thrust for a single motor, pulling around about 16 amps. Now, given that there's going to be two of these guys on there, and the fact that the airframe as it is with the original EDFs only weighs 365 grams, I think we're going to have enough thrust to get this thing off the ground. The steering is provided by this little nose wheel here, which looks like it's probably better off suited to being on a Blériot than a B2, so I'm not overly keen on that, but just to see whether the thing flies or not, we'll stick with those for the moment. I'm going to be going with the setup that I've used before with twin EDFs to produce steering, so varying the speed to result in a yaw function. In addition, for belt and braces, my gyro of choice at the moment, this A3 Mini, should sit in there quite nicely, and we'll see how it gets on in controlling the wing. You may have noticed it only has elevon control there, the outer portions linked by this little connector here. Maybe if the first flights are successful, we might look at doing something adventurous by adding flaps and doing what I do best, overcomplicating things. Stick around then, I'll get these motors taken out, we'll put in the new ones with brushless speed controllers, and we'll see where we go from there. Now I know you're all sitting there smiling, thinking he's never going to get those EDFs out of there without ripping the foam to pieces. You can see by the amount of hot melt glue that they are well stuck in there. However, when I was about 9 years old, I was given a microscope for Christmas, along with this very strange spatula-like thing, but it's very thin metal, and all I did was to push down the sides and gradually work away at the goo until voila, See, most of the glue was just down the sides, fortunately. I wasn't quite so lucky with the second one, but fortunately there's very little damage to the foam there, and I will now be able to get on and put in the replacements. That's progress. The build now complete then, and the weight comes in at 422 without the battery. I'm going to be using this 1500, allegedly 120C pack. I have given it some stress and it seems to hold up. We'll see how we get on. Including that, then the takeoff weight will be 561 grams. Not much to note about the final build. We can see the little A3 mini gyro in there. We'll see how we get on with that. My receiver of choice with the battery voltage telemetry, the RadioLink R8F. I used that with the multi-protocol module in my Taranis, and also I can use that with a Radio Master, which is compatible with this type of RadioLink protocol. There we have it then. In short, hopefully we will have the maiden flight, and that might be overly brief, I think, as well. We'll wait and see.